Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning and enjoying your week here on wherever you are. I mean, really, whatever's going on and wherever you are around the country and the world, we appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, and spending some time with us where sports meets that thing called life inside the Cafe Cubal studios. And Cafe Cubal proudly coming to you on 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street, 2 locations in Syracuse, New York. You can also find them inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse. And, of course, you could find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown stripe building. And you can find them at the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, New York at Sweetheart Corner. So make sure you head out to Cafe Cubal today. Get the holiday chai while supplies last. Enjoy yourself all of their coffees, including their holiday blend while that supplies last. And make sure when you go out there to grab a bag of coffee for later, grab one for you and one for a loved one. And make sure that you give the gift of Cafe Cubal this season and every season. So thank you for supporting local and supporting Cafe Cubal. With that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we have a tremendous show coming up for you today. I'm ecstatic to have the 2 guests that we have that'll be bringing in a very, very special piece of everything we do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I'm calling it here today. I'm very excited to be able to do something like this, to have, this bowl classic for you, this bowl opportunity for you, the bowl business. And so, we've entitled this broadcast, this episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Bowl Business, because it's about those that are in the business of 2 bowl games that are extremely reputable and important to the fabric of the college football playoff, as well as New Year's Six and the prominent bowls in our country. So at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time, in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by Scottie Rodgers, who's the Director of Communications for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, which is a part of the college football playoff this season. And as part of the college football playoff this season, they're the college football semi-final game, one of the semifinal games, this one being Alabama, the number 1 seed, and number 4 seeded Cincinnati. So we get to talk with Scottie Rodgers, the Director of Communications for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, coming up here at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time. And he'll be followed by the President and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., Gary Stokan. And the Peach Bowl, Inc. oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl as well as the Chick-fil-A kickoff game and so much more, including working closely with the College Football Hall of Fame, which they helped bring to Atlanta, Georgia, where they are based, and a golf outing, and obviously giving back to the community and raising funds and whatnot. There's a lot that they do for the community with Peach Bowl, Inc., in raising money and giving it right back into the surrounding community. So a lot of love and a lot of respect for that and a lot of appreciation. So Gary Stokan going to be joining us in hour number 2 at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. And here in hour number 1, we're going to be joined, like I said, momentarily by Scottie Rodgers of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. So to give you some thoughts here on what's been going on, and very excited to be able to do this with everything that we have in the world of sports going on right now. It's important to, take a look at how things have kind of shaped out and how things have changed and what's not. Speaking of the bowl season, and looking at the bowl season as you watch here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/livenowdt. I want to thank you for tuning in to all of our broadcasts that way, as well as listening on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you connect with us there. And we have the opportunity to reach you there at all times. I should say Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have the opportunity to connect with you in our archive by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as iHeartRadio and Podbean. you can go to any one of those channels and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you connect with us there. After the shows go live, you can go and find them in our archives and be able to pick up over 1,500 episodes just in Podbean alone. So make sure you do that. But taking a look at bowl season and how things have changed here. Well, first and foremost, to give a little rundown, Middle Tennessee defeated Toledo in the Bahamas Bowl. Coastal Carolina defeated Northern Illinois in the Cure Bowl. Like State over UTEP in the New Mexico Bowl. Got that one right. UAB over BYU in the Independence Bowl. I want to say I picked BYU, so I may have gotten that one wrong. Liberty over Eastern Michigan in the Lending Tree Bowl, and I chose Liberty. Utah State over Oregon State in the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, and I picked Utah State. New Orleans Bowl had Louisiana over Marshall. I had Louisiana. Tulsa over Old Dominion in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. I had that as well. Wyoming over Kent State. I had Kent State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, so I got that wrong. San Diego State over UTSA, I got wrong in the Frisco Bowl. In the Armed Forces Bowl, Army comes back in the last seconds to defeat Missouri. I had that win. Frisco Classic in its first year ever in Frisco, Texas. Different from the Frisco Bowl, the Frisco Classic, I had North Texas. Miami of Ohio ended up defeating them. I had UCF over Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl, and I got that one right. The Hawaii Bowl was canceled between Memphis and Hawaii. Georgia State over Ball State, I had that in the Camellia Bowl. Quick Lane Bowl, Western Michigan defeated Nevada yesterday to give Tim Lester a win in bowl season, which is only the second win in the history of Western Michigan. They've played college football for 60 years. They've been to 10 bowl games in 60 years, 6 of those coming in the last decade. 300 P.J. Fleck, who went 1-2, 300 Tim Lester, who's now 1-2. So he's been to as many as P.J. Fleck. He went to 3 and 4 years. P.J. Fleck went to 3 and 4 years. Fleck won 1. Lester won 1 as the only two coaches in Western Michigan Broncos history that have ever led a team to a bowl victory. So shout out to Lester and P.J. Fleck. In the Military Bowl, that was canceled between ECU and Boston College, which was very sad to see amongst all the other ones. I mean, seeing all of this, Memphis, a team I cover, ECU, a team I cover, BC, a team I cover, it was sad to see anybody have to cancel, especially teams that I know well. I know the coaches and whatnot, so it was very sad to see. So that brings us to today, where in the Birmingham Bowl, we will see at noon Eastern time on ESPN, Houston at 11-2 will take on Auburn at 6-6. Shows you how they look at the SEC. A 500 SEC team is deserving of going up against an 11-2 Houston team that played in the AAC Championship against Cincinnati. So we'll see how that goes in the Birmingham Bowl at noon today, December 28th. And then at 3:15, and that's on ESPN, at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, the First Responders Bowl, December 28th today, Louisville Air Force, Louisville 6-6, Air Force 9-3. Then today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox, the Holiday Bowl will feature UCLA at 8-4 and NC State, another team I cover closely, at 9-3. And then at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN will have the Liberty Bowl, and I got to go to the stadium where the Liberty Bowl is played and where Memphis plays their games. Beautiful place, awesome barbecue. Big shout out to them. And a shout out to one of the teams playing in this that I know their running backs coach very well, DeAndre Smith. So the Texas Tech team at 6-6 will face off against Mississippi State, who's 7-5. So Texas Tech 6-6, Mississippi State 7-5 in the Liberty Bowl, being played at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. And the final game today of 5 games in bowl season, all being played today, December 28th. We have the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, between Minnesota at 8-4 and West Virginia at 6-6. Another game that was supposed to be happening tomorrow, Virginia and SMU got canceled, and so we will not see that game, unfortunately. And there's been some adjustments here. On December 31st, Rutgers will in fact play Wake Forest. So Rutgers and Wake Forest to face off against one another in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, and that's going to be at 11 a.m. on ESPN on New Year's Eve. So that has been changed, and we know that there's some other moves being made right now that will involve teams being able to play in other bowl games, as certain bowls have not canceled. They're just looking for someone to take the place. So, some bowls canceled and some bowls were just looking for someone to fill the spot. And I'm excited to see what this is all going to shape out to be. And, obviously today I'm going to be glued to my television because there's 5 bowl games and they start right after this broadcast at noon and they carry all the way through the day. Literally going to go from noon until past midnight today with a game starting at noon and the final game, like I said, starting at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time on the West Coast. That game is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, which means that they'll be seeing it in prime time at 7:15 and I'll be seeing it at 10:15 p.m. But I'm excited to see all these games and very excited as bowl season continues on. So hopefully these bowl games will be played. There's plenty more bowl games to go on December 29th as well as December 30th. Of course, the game coming up that we're going to be talking about with Gary Stokan is going to be coming to you on December 30th as well. Very excited to have that game that we're going to be talking about, and that being the Peach Bowl. So excited to bring that one to you, the conversation to you, as Michigan State gets set to take on Pittsburgh on December 30th, this coming Thursday. And, of course, we will also be speaking with Scottie Rodgers in just a couple minutes about the college football playoff semifinal game, which is in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic between Alabama and Cincinnati, coming up this New Year's Eve. So a lot of great stuff happening on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and so happy to be bringing you bowl season in such a special way as I have 2 fantastic guests coming onto the broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, featuring the wonderful Mr. Scottie Rodgers of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and Mr. Gary Stokan of Peach Bowl Inc. overseeing the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. So a lot of great stuff coming up on today's broadcast, and so happy to have you here for a broadcast that I have entitled Bowl Business, as we speak with 2 individuals that are within the business of these bowl games, and we get to have a conversation about from the inside looking out of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and the college football playoff, as well as the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which is in rotation to be part of the college football playoff and has been part of the college football playoff here in recent history. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Very happy to be bringing it to you where sports meets life inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we will be joined by Mr. Scottie Rodgers of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic to give us a behind-the-scenes look as the Director of Communications for the upcoming college football playoff semifinal. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbeeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in their community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. From inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, you are watching and listening worldwide on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/livenowdt, as well as on MixLR, like I said, listening all over the world. We appreciate you on the East Coast, Midwest, and West Coast, and of course around the world for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. This is a huge, huge opportunity for us to share something special with you, as I've entitled this broadcast for today's episode, Bowl Business. And here in hour number one, on the side of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and the Chick-fil-A, and the Chick-fil-A coming up in hour number two here with Gary Stokan. But in hour number one, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, part of the college football playoff, one of the semifinal games this time around as they are in rotation of the college football playoff. I am ecstatic to have Scottie Rodgers here on the broadcast, the Director of Communications for the Cotton Bowl Classic, as he joins us here this morning with plenty to talk about in an awesome opportunity that is going to be happening in just a few days as we get to see Alabama and Cincinnati go toe-to-toe. So let's bring him in. Scottie, how are we doing today?
Dan, how we doing?
I'm doing very well. And Scottie, first and foremost, I want to Tarantino this thing and go all the way back. What got you started with the Cotton Bowl Classic? How did this all come about that you had an opportunity to work within the walls of such a prominent bowl game?
Well, it goes back to, frankly, my first job in college athletics. My first job, I was fortunate enough to work for the Southeastern Conference. I started there as an intern and was fortunate enough to get promoted to full-time and actually got promoted a couple of times. Well, in what turned out to be my last year at the SEC, I got the opportunity to come work the Cotton Bowl Classic here in Dallas through building a relationship with Charlie Fisk and some of the great folks that are here. And just over time, that just continued to grow. So I actually worked 21 Cotton Bowls in a row before getting the opportunity when Charlie made the decision to change his career and wanted to step back a little bit, and he moved into a part-time role with the staff as our historian. the opportunity became available for me to put my name in for the director of communications position, and I was able to get it. And like I tell people all the time, I had the world's longest interview, so it only took 21 years to get this job. But it was been unbelievable. The first 2 years I started, I'm one of those people that changed jobs, moved cities in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic. In my first 2 years, and last year and this year, have definitely not been by plan. It's definitely been a lot of wrinkles that's been thrown our way in those 2 years, but it's also been good and great. It's been able to take a lot of things that we've done over the years and amplify them in a different way, change them in a different way to deal with the times that we're dealing with now, and still create hopefully the best experience possible, especially for the media that's covering the game.
Yeah, and like you said, the longest job interview, 21 straight Cotton Bowls that you worked. Just what that meant to you and why you kept being a part of it for over 2 decades. What was it about the Cotton Bowl that just made you feel like, hey, I want to be here. I want to learn from this group, from this team, from this situation, because there are so many bowls. What kept you in the world's longest job interview?
It was one of those situations where just over time it was something to do for fun, and then it became like a family reunion almost. You get back every year. There are some people that you really didn't see all year long, because working in the jobs that I've worked throughout college athletics, kept me pretty busy throughout the course of the year. So it was things like the Cotton Bowl Classic, the Final Four, some of the national conventions that happened. That's the only time that you saw folks. So as it built over time, I started making friends with a lot of people here on the staff that are currently here, previously here, folks that come in like I did over the years. And just over time, it just became a situation where it was just a part of my schedule. And everybody that knew me knew that was a part of my schedule. Hey, around Christmas through New Year's, or, at some points through the first of the year, they knew I was going to be here in Dallas for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. So just when the opportunity came to come on staff, or the opportunity to try to come on staff, I was honored to be considered, and frankly was humbled when I got the call that they wanted me to be a part of the staff.
And for you, the Director of Communications in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, speaking here with Scottie Rodgers on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Scottie, what is the day-to-day? Because, people hear Director of Communications and they wonder, okay, exactly what are you jumping into? What are you asked to do? This obviously isn't something that happens the week of the bowl game. This is a year-round process. So bring me into, what your requirements are for your job and kind of how much it asks of you of your time throughout the year, as well as specifically what you're working on.
Well, the one thing about our bowl game in particular, we have things going on throughout the course of the year. I mean, this fall in particular, I'll give you as an example, we host 3 games. So all the college football games that are at AT&T Stadium, we, the Cotton Bowl Classic, our staff, the Cotton Bowl Athletic Association, serves as the backbone, the operations, from game operations to media operations for those games. So we had Stanford, Kansas State in the All-State Kickoff Classic the first weekend of the season. 3 weeks after that, the Southwest Classic, Texas A&M and Arkansas, and then the Big 12 Championship game in early December. So there's a lot of work that goes on working with the entities, whether it's the schools that are participating, the Big 12 in the case of their football championship game, to help get all the logistics and all the operations kind of behind the scenes. It's their game and it's their event, but we're there to provide the support, and in particular provide the bodies and individuals and the expertise to come in and make sure that the games are run the way that they should. Beyond that, this fall, because of the pandemic, we also normally we would have our Hall of Fame. Every 2 years we do our Cotton Bowl Hall of Fame, and normally we would do that in the spring. But this year, because of the delays related to the pandemic, we actually did our Hall of Fame in October. So that was a whole wrinkle, and we were able to do an in-person event. So that was a whole wrinkle within our fall schedule. And on top of that, we do a lot of great work in the community through the Cotton Bowl Foundation, whether that's working with the College Football Playoff Foundation for Big Day. We've created a relationship with food banks here in town. We've done a couple of those events. We do what they call, especially with Tarrant Area Food Bank, a mega mobile market where cars can come in. We use the parking lot here at AT&T Stadium. We can feed thousands of family over a 3 or 4 hour period. Working with them, they bring in all the expertise. We bring in our logistical help as it relates to it, and it just turns out a way that we can do something. This year we did one of those right before Mother's Day, and then we did one right before Thanksgiving, and the one at Thanksgiving was the second year in a row that we did it. So now it's becoming an annual thing. And then through our foundation, we have grants that we give out on an annual basis, and then just the relationships that we built with these local nonprofits and the money that we give out as relates to that. So there's a lot of different things that goes on as it relates to whether it's with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic or the Cotton Bowl Foundation. It's a busy time for us throughout the course of the year, and just weave through all of that is all the planning as it relates to planning these games in a 5-6 day experience for these bowls takes for the teams that come in for our bowl game takes a lot of work and a lot of coordination with a lot of people. So we spend a lot of time throughout doing that. So it's very important.
Yeah, and like you said, Scottie, you're doing things in the community. If you throughout the year you're giving back, just speak to some of that, the importance of that, the importance of providing for the community, not just money but also time and resources and whatnot. Just how with the Cotton Bowl, in connection with the Cotton Bowl, that you are making sure that you reach out to the surrounding community and doing right by the community and trying to build up the community itself and the people within it, to let them know that this is more than just a game, and it's really about their lives and about making sure that the people that make up this beautiful area in Texas are going to be taken care of, treated well, and maybe somewhere within all of this they find opportunity themselves beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, we support higher education by providing opportunities and exposure afforded by having what we think is the best postseason experience in college football. We use that experience and we use the exposure that comes out of that to be a champion in our community. We do a lot to have genuine engagement with the folks here in the city throughout North Texas, because that's the one thing about our game is in Arlington, which is in the footprint of the Dallas-Fort Worth footprint, and we call that North Texas. It's really important for us to reach out throughout North Texas and make sure that we touch on all different aspects, all different types of individuals who have a passion for the game of football, whether they're young, old, whatever ethnic background, whatever socioeconomic background they have. So it's important so we can use some of the things that we're afforded by having this game and do things in the community to give back. We want to be a champion for our community here, and not only here, but really across the country, because each year we have teams that come in to our bowl game and our bowl experience, and then they go back to their respective campuses. And through the experience here, we hope that they have a great experience and they continue to celebrate and speak highly of what we do. And we're very prideful about making sure that folks have a wonderful experience, and we want them to go back and sing our praises and also want to come back when the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, and speaking here with Scottie Rodgers, Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic Director of Communications, about going far beyond and seeing what you've been able to do. I like the hashtag that's on the website for the Cotton Bowl, and that is the hashtag like no other. Bring me into that, and who was kind of into choosing this? Were you a part of this to have the hashtag like no other? Because I think it's saying a lot of what you're saying. So I'd love to get into who was a part of choosing that and why you felt that was the proper hashtag to really be a model for what the Cotton Bowl Classic is to the world.
That hashtag was in place before I came on board, so I don't know the full background on how it was created, but I absolutely get it, because it was one that just really in a very few letters explains who we are, because we want to be extraordinary. We want to be creative. accommodating and supportive to all the folks that we deal with, from the teams to the fans to the alumni that come in town. We want to do that for everybody. We want to use that like no other spirit and touch on the history that we represent, the people that we represent, and the community that we represent. So it's really that's really important to us, and we just want to be extraordinary in everything that we do.
And in being extraordinary, you're in a stadium that is extremely beautiful. The AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. This stadium has hosted so many wonderful events. Coming up here in 2022 in April, WrestleMania will be there. Just what you could say about having this venue. When we talk about, like you said, you want the Cotton Bowl Classic to be better than anything else, the best experience anybody's going to have, that bowl game that truly sticks out. Well, you picked the right stadium for that. So bring me into the AT&T Stadium and just what that means to the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and to the level that you've raised the bar for the Cotton Bowl, just why this stadium really is the right fit for you.
Well, we're really blessed. This happened while I was on the volunteer side, but I haven't worked as many Cotton Bowls I have. I experienced many games at Cotton Bowl Stadium, where our game was originated from, and lived at for a number of years. I do know that we are very, very blessed to have a relationship with Jerry Jones and the Jones family, so that when they were building this stadium, it was a reach out to us to figure out how they wanted to do what they could to help amplify and take this game to the next level. Not only the bowl game, but for us as a staff, because our office is in AT&T Stadium. So I go to AT&T Stadium every day to go to work. And that is amazing. It changed our whole logistics of what we do and how we operate as a organization. So, and having a stadium that is, while it's older, because you remember that stadium was built in 2009, and our first game there was in 2010. So that's, now you're talking about almost 12-year-old stadium. But I still call it, and we still call it state-of-the-art, because it's plug and play everywhere. And we got enough space to accommodate everything that we do from an operational standpoint, from the fan experience. They've added some things with the Middle Lighthouse that they've added this year out there, which is an outdoor fan experience area that they have there, and that's what we're going to be using to use our Goodyear Hole Up right before the game, so the fans can Battle of the Bands is going to happen the day before. It's going to happen out there in those areas as well, out in those plaza areas outside the stadium. So they've just created a whole different environment at the stadium. I mean, you go to that stadium, it is an experience. I've been there for Cowboys games. I've been there for some college football games. I hope to be there for WrestleMania when it comes up, and some of the big events. They have high school football games there, and so many concerts and so many different things that happen there at the stadium. It is such a great experience. And, Alabama's been here before. Cincinnati hasn't. So Alabama knows what to expect, and I think the Cincinnati fans are going to be excited, are going to be thrilled to have an experience in a game like that. Because when you walk into that stadium, in whatever capacity you walk in for game day, you know you're in something big time. And it's gonna be electric atmosphere. It's New Year's Eve, which is already a fun day in just life in general. And now you make it the 86 Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. You make it a 2021 college football playoff semifinal, and it's just going to be a fun and electric day. And just with all the things that goes along throughout the course of the week for our fans, from the Cotton Bowl Live to Six Flags Fan Day, to all these different things that they can do, whether it's at the stadium or nearby at Texas Live or nearby at Six Flags over Texas. It's just a lot going on for people when they come in town and can experience, because, again, North Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there's a lot to offer.
And I wanted to get into that, the festivities and what you do for the teams when they come into town, not just the fans, but the teams as well, that you have a week of fun events to kind of get them to, relax and cool down and get to see what your facilities are like, what the community is like. So when Cincinnati and Alabama come into town all the way up into the game, bring me into what you try to do to make the experience for the teams that compete in the Cotton Bowl Classic something special.
Well, what we try to do is put together a schedule for the teams and options for them to have some time to enjoy themselves. Now, when they're coming in, especially for a CFP semifinal, we understand it's a business trip. So they want to be focused on the key things they need to be focused on, making sure that they're protecting their health and safety, making sure they're getting ready for the game with their practices at AT&T Stadium, or if they use an alternate venue, but generally both teams practice every day at the stadium. And then at their respective team hotels, we try to create a fun environment for them in their hospitality room. So frankly, while they can go out and do what they want to do around the city based upon the parameters of their specific team, we try to create a fun and comfortable environment here in the hotels where they're staying, so that they can stay there and they don't have to worry about going out and going around, especially for the players, because you know this, you know how it is in the bowl business. Coaches don't want their players just running around whatever city they're in. They want to make sure they keep them at bay as best they can and keep them focused on what they're there for. And especially this year, when you talk about a playoff game, they're there to play and hopefully be able to be successful in that game to move on to the national championship. So, they have some events here. And the one thing that we had to do, as we had to do last year, as we had to do this year, we had to make sure to adjust as new policies that came down from the CFP trying to protect the health and safety of everybody involved. We had to adjust some of those things. So making them optional, or sometimes in some cases, teams decided to not take the option to be involved in something. But that's okay, because it's about the number one thing. It's about the health and safety of all the individuals that's related to Cincinnati and Alabama that are here in town. So that's what we want to do. And they're going to have a fun experience, but the key things is them enjoying the hospitality they have right in their hotel, because we really do try to create experience. So they frankly don't have to go outside to have fun. They can do it right there, right around their area, and can do that in a safe environment.
And that's the thing, Scottie, is, this year and last year, really for almost 2 years now, unfortunately, I have to say that because it's the truth, but looking at the way that the world has been and what's happened to, bowl season last year with cancellations, and this year we've already seen some cancellations and adjustments and whatnot. How have you worked to adjust with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic to make sure it is a safe environment and make sure that you continue to get the opportunity to compete? Because we are living in a world where things are fluid and have been fluid for almost 2 years. So how do you live within that world when you are overseeing a bowl game?
Well, this year is a little bit different than last year in the sense of there was a lot more protocols in place that we had to do that we kind of knew, because we were, I shouldn't say in the heart of the pandemic, but it was obviously a lot more to it then than it is now, but it's still now a major thing that we're all dealing with. This year, people have a much better understanding. So the number one thing that we need to do from our two participating teams is make sure that we understand and the protocols that they have in place, because they've been having protocols in place all season long, and making sure that we adhere to their protocols, because that's what's kept them safe all year long. So in addition to that, making sure that we do everything that we can for the folks that we have here in town that we bring in are safe, that's going to be around in whatever environment they are, whether it's somewhat close to teams or even far away from the teams in some form or fashion. We want to make sure that the individuals that we have around, that the whole environment is very, very safe. That is number one, not only for the folks that are participating, but the folks that are coming into the stadium. One thing that we've done over the last couple of years at the stadium, we've gone to mobile ticketing. So it's a more of a cashless environment inside of the stadium. So, to cut down on those touch points and those types of things. So all of those types of things we have to do, and that's just what we have to do. And we have to, some people may not like all the protocols that are in place, but that's the world that we live in. Unfortunately, as you just said, we've been doing it for over 2 years now, and we just have to kind of work with it. It always has to be a fluid situation. It just happened to us here during the bowl game. We were planning to do in-person media availabilities for the entire week, and then there was a change in policy from the CFP, and we had to walk that back, take all the news conferences to virtual, eliminate the media in-person session to watch practices, all for the number one goal, the health and safety of the two teams participating in this year for us, Cincinnati and Alabama.
And how do you make sure, I mean, even with all of the protocol and all of the protection of these student athletes and the coaches and whatnot, how do you do everything within your power to make sure that these teams do not have an issue? Because we've seen that, I mean, there's teams that have been totally fine, maybe haven't had any issues. A team like Virginia that had to cancel against SMU, and now that bowl game is canceled. And we look at, something could just come on at any given time. So, how do you try to plan and make sure that, okay, everything we're doing, everything that's set in place, the media is going to do virtual. We're going to, not keep fans away from the players with this. We're going to do this, that, and the other. But how do you, when it comes to the teams itself, how do you make sure, because you can't oversee, obviously, almost 100 players and all of their coaches and staff members, how do you try to make sure that this is as safe as it possibly can, that the situation is as good as it possibly can be? Is there anybody monitoring that? I mean, how do you work this system to not have one person come down with something, then come into the arena and then give it to 10 other people, 15, and then be, I mean, this can happen so quickly. How do you try to protect in a world where you obviously can't be personally responsible for everybody?
Well, we try to do everything possible, and like I said before, it starts, number one, with understanding each team's protocols and following that. Number two, it comes into making sure that we cut down on the exposures they have with people throughout the course of the week, where we may have people that would come and watch something or be a part of something or make a presentation or things like that. Cutting those things back, either all the way to not doing them or making sure that we limit the numbers of interactions with people. Make sure they don't have a number of different people that haven't been in there. I use the word bubble because as a team, they've been traveling around all year long with the individuals that have. So they know how to protect their bubble. And our job, their roaming bubble. So our job is to make sure that we do what we can to protect that as well as they make their movements throughout North Texas, whether that's at their hotel or at the stadium. So that's really where it really boils into. We gotta hope, and that's where it starts, and that's where it ends, really. And that's what we try to do. We have to be able to operate the game the way that we can, to do it to the best of our ability. So we have to have people around to do things. But again, making sure that folks on our operation staffs are wearing masks when they're in the appropriate situations, making sure that we cut down on some of the other things that we've done that maybe have been in person and maybe turning them in virtual, whether they're meetings, whether they're news conferences and things like that, just so that we do everything possible. Because now that we have all the different tools, we had them before, but now that we have used everything from Microsoft Teams to Zoom and you name whatever platform, we can use those to our advantage to still communicate, still make sure that we have a good experience and go from there. I'll give you a perfect example this week. One of the big things we loved doing for our teams coming in town was to go to the two children's hospitals here in North Texas. Well, we weren't able to do that this year. So what we did was work with the teams, and they had e-visits. They were in a room in their respective hotels, and they were on a screen with kids that were at the hospitals. Alabama's did theirs yesterday. Cincinnati will do theirs today, and they were able to interact with them in a safe way. No, it wasn't an in-person visit, but we didn't want to eliminate that as an opportunity for them to see some folks and see some kids that were excited to see them, learn more about them and who they are as individuals, not just as football players, and for them to get just a little piece of touching on some folks in North Texas that maybe that's not having, that's going through some trials and tribulations, and the few minutes they can spend with them put a smile on their face. Those are the types of things that we have to do to be able to create the bowl experience, but also keep the health and safety at paramount.
And Scottie, I mean, having to do so many things virtually, I know it allows things to continue on, but does it lose anything? I mean, I know face-to-face to me, I always tell people my first road is to see you face to face. If I can't do that, I'll call you. If I can't do that, I'll text you. That's how my world works. I try to spend as much time there in person as I can, because that shows a person that you care. It shows a person you're willing to go beyond. But in the world we live in today, to show that we care, we go virtual and we spend our time and our energy there. Is it gaining anything? Do the kids get something out of this? Do the players and the coaches get something out of it, albeit virtual? And despite that it is, do you still feel like the message is getting across and there's good being done? Because it obviously is different. You can't go there and give a kid a hug. You're seeing them on a virtual screen. But do you still think that what you're trying to do is being achieved in a world where we've had to adjust?
Yeah, I do think it does make a difference, and it does create a bowl experience, because that's the other thing we want to come into. Because the days that they spend here, hopefully they're going to have stories that they're going to be telling 5, 10, 20 years down the road. You remember that time we were at the Cotton Bowl and we did this, and I beat you in this game in the hospitality room, or we did this, or we talked to these kids. So from the team perspective, we definitely trying to create that bowl experience, even with some things being muted, even with some things being canceled or optional. For them, we want to try to create the best bowl experience possible. That's making sure that their hotel becomes a place of comfort for them, where they're staying, so that they can feel the best that they can and perform at the highest level when they do. From a media standpoint, frankly, I think the virtual experience, while it hurts to not have the things in person and things we used to, we've tried to take advantage of the platform, Zoom in particular, the portal that we work with the college football playoff to put out information. So in a way, we've been able to distribute information, and hopefully then telling people about all the great stories. They can make great stories because we've been able to do things a little bit more virtually. In the past, we maybe didn't put as much of that stuff out there because most of the people that we're covering or interested were here in person. But now that we're disseminating that information out in a virtual platform in many ways, we can make that accessible to more people, and some people can't make it here, but they still want to cover this game in particular. And by them covering the game and the places that they are, then they're exposing the game and what we're doing here at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in their corners of the country, of the world. And that's a benefit to us, because more people learn about what we're doing because they have access to whether it's audio files, video files, transcripts, so they can write stories, etc. So yes, there is it's a negative in one respect, but we figured out a way to try to turn that around and make that a positive.
And Scottie, I got to thank Scottie Rodgers here, the Director of Communications for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and so much more that they do throughout the year. I have to thank you personally, because, me having the opportunity to be a part of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and have this credential in the virtual world that we live in is allowing me to achieve so many opportunities to speak and be able to cover and share this with everybody that's watching and listening around the world. So I can personally say that in a world where we've had to adjust over the last couple of years, that what the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic is doing, and what you're doing as the Director of Communications, is allowing me the avenues to tell the stories that I need to tell and make the connections that I want to make and get that information out to people. So I can tell you firsthand that you are doing a lot to make sure that people like me have an opportunity to connect with the coaches and the student athletes and to you, so that we can really tell the story of this year's Cotton Bowl. And I want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome, Dan. The world of college, the world of sports and sports journalism has changed quite a bit, as you well know. We could talk on that for hours, how it's changed in the last 5 years, last 10 years. So we've had to adjust on how we disseminate information, how we work with the various types of entities that are out there, because they look a lot different than they did 10, 20 years ago. And so we have to evolve with the times and understand what that is. And that's what we've been trying to do and will continue to do, to make sure that people can talk about it. Because, hey, if we got great stories to be told here, and I want to make sure there's enough people out there all over all different sides of this country to that they can learn about not only just the game in Cincinnati and Alabama, but the bowl experience, the history of our game. This is our 86th Classic, and so we've been around for a long time, and we're going to be around for a long time, and we got so many great stories, whether it's personalities, coaches, players, folks that have served on our various governing bodies as chairs on our board of directors or our council, and there's just so many great things that we have about it, and I'm passionate about that, so I try to make sure that at any turn that I can to speak on the greatness of what we do, because I feel that we do have a lot of greatness here and want to keep continuing to do that in this role.
And Scottie, for what the Cotton Bowl gets to be a part of, you're in rotation. There's 43 bowl games that are going on this season, 86 teams of the 130 that can be involved in FBS, and obviously some FCS can have some involvement in there, as we've seen Jackson State and whatnot. But when we take a look at the grand scope of things, to know that on a very short list, the Cotton Bowl Classic is a part of the college football playoff and the rotation, just what that means to you, that the Cotton Bowl, like you said, for all the time it's been around, for over 8 decades, that it's been a part of college football history and part of the fabric of our country and sports in our country in general, to know that it is now part of the fabric of what determines the true national champion in Division I AFBS, just what that means to you.
It means a lot to us. I mean, a lot of those decisions and that evolution of this game getting to this point was led by Rick Baker, who's our president and CEO, and a lot of folks on our staff, and a lot of people that he worked with, whether it was with the CFP, as the CFP evolved, and just all the partners, civic, community partners that they had to work with here in the North Texas to make it all happen, because the Cotton Bowl has been a New Year's Day kind of tradition, or in and around New Year's Day for a really long time, but for a while there was kind of on the outside looking in as it relates to as the bowl structure was evolving from the various things that happened prior to the CFP coming into reality. So that was really important, and the good folks here made the right decisions with the right people, had the right plan in place, and was able to get in position. So when the New Year's Six was born officially, and the CFP went in that direction, the Cotton Bowl Classic was in position to get there, and then creating the relationship. Well, they had some great relationships from previous companies. Creating a relationship with Goodyear has now really helped take the whole game and the whole experience as a part of all that to the next level. So we're now in position to do all the great things that I've kind of talked about here today. And frankly, it really kind of brought itself to light last year. I'm sure many of your listeners know this, but, we found out on December 19th that the day before selections last year, when we found out our teams that was coming to our game, that we were going to be hosting the Rose Bowl. That was going to be on December 1st. And our game was, on January 1st, and our game was on December 30th. So between the Big 12 championship, our bowl game last year, and the Rose Bowl game, we had 3 high-level FBS games in AT&T Stadium in a 2-week period, and 2 in a 3-day period, hosting 2 New Year's Six bowl games. So that says a lot about a lot of people beyond me. I was just fortunate enough, and that was my first year. I was just fortunate enough to be a part of the process, and had to pivot and do my part to make sure we got both of those games across the finish line in a way that represent what we do. And we partner with our good friends at the Rose Bowl game. As my boss Rick said, when family calls, you answer the phone and you help them out. And the Rose Bowl called, and they needed our help, and we answered the phone, and we wanted to help them out, because that was really important to us as a part of being a part of the bowl family, a part of the bowl season family, and that's what we were able to do. And we created an experience that hopefully we never have to replicate again. But if we do, we will. And it was a really special, crazy, hard to describe time. It's even a year later, it's kind of hard to describe going through all of that. last year, but it made us battle tested to deal with all the pivoting that you have to do as it relates to the game, and as we've had to pivot again this year, we pivoted again, and we'll continue to do so to make sure that we continue to create a great experience for everybody involved.
So, Scottie, between the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, being part of the college football playoff, helping the community, having different events throughout the year, different games, like you said, hosting inside of AT&T Stadium, the Big 12 Championship, working at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, and having to bring in these other bowls in an emergency situation, if and when will you sleep in the next couple weeks?
Sleep is not something I need to worry about. Hopefully on later on January 1st, definitely January 2nd, I will probably be taking multiple naps. That's it. So hopefully I'm blocking out my calendar to take naps that day. But when you prepare for this all year, you know that it's going to be long hours. You know that you're not going to get a lot of sleep. So I try to prepare myself for that. Especially as I continue to get a little bit longer in the tooth. I can't rebound as much as I once could, so I work really hard to make sure that I'm prepared every day. Come in with a plan every day. I use the same analogy that any sports team uses. I have my game plan for a day for the stuff that I need to do, and working with the folks on our staff, whether it's our communications marketing staff or our overall staff, and just making sure that we have our eye on every day, making sure we're planning what we need to do for that day and getting prepared for the next day or two ahead of us, so that we are prepared for everything. So when we do have to pivot, we can communicate and do the things we need to do so, and then also execute the plans that we have in place if the world allows us to execute them as we have them originally scheduled.
That coming from Scottie Rodgers. Scottie, final point, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, speaking about the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic this entire time, about the Alabama Crimson Tide, the number 1 seed in the college football playoff, against the number 4 seeded Cincinnati Bearcats. Alabama is used to being here perennially. Cincinnati, this is their first time getting a berth in the college football playoff, and it's about time. So looking at Alabama, looking at Cincinnati, bring me into your thoughts on the matchup that you have for this year's Cotton Bowl.
Well, I won't get in predictions for the game. That's not my place to get into there. But I will say this. Cincinnati comes in as an undefeated team, a team on a mission. So, a lot of people might think because Alabama has been here on a number of occasions, obviously the defending national champion, obviously has won multiple national championships in the most recent years, that this game may look a different way. But you don't win all your games throughout the regular season and dominate your conference the way that Cincinnati has done and get to this point and walk into a game and be undermatched. So, this team, this program is coming in with everything. And look, Alabama's season did not look like a lot of their seasons did when they were on a championship run. So they had to do some things differently to get here. They obviously know what they expect because they've been in the seat before. They've been at the top of the mountain on multiple occasions, so they know what they're coming into. But I think for both of these teams, they got to figure out what they have to do to be successful against the other. And I think it's going to create an interesting matchup because these coaches on both sides have had a lot of time to watch a lot of film and to figure out where they're going to exploit their weaknesses to take the advantage, and where they're going to be able to go out there and do the things that they do well and hopefully have success. So number one thing I'm looking for is an exciting and fun football game, and I totally expect that on New Year's Eve at AT&T Stadium.
And like you said, you're not getting into any predictions or anything of that, but the magnitude of this game. I mean, you're essentially getting a game that will forever live in history. The notion of the how they talk about Power 5 and Group of 5, and I don't like to use those in other media terms. I did not create those terms though. And to look at these teams, Alabama has the respect in the SEC. The American Athletic has been fighting to gain respect. No matter what they do, it's seemingly they've been left out of the conversation. What does it mean to you that no matter what happens in this game, you will be a part of history? The Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic will forever be the game where Cincinnati got there, the American Athletic Conference got there, the teams and the conferences that were told that there was no road for them broke through and attained that. win, lose, or draw, what does it mean to you and to the Cotton Bowl Classic to know that with all the history you've had up to this point, you now get to mark a huge part of history, which shows that who was called kind of the quote-unquote underdog has found their way to the nation's highest stage, which is truly special.
Well, it means a lot, and I know, not speaking for everybody, but for me, I'm just humbled to be a part of these opportunities. I've been really fortunate in my career to be around a lot of big-time college sports events and some professional sports events as well. So I don't take that lightly. I come into a game, and we come into a game like this making sure that we're trying to create the best possible bowl experience for the participants that we have. This year, that's Cincinnati and Alabama, and it will be a part of history. These 2 years, hopefully it's only these 2 years and there's not a third year coming up, but these 2 years in and around college sports are going to be talked about for decades to come about what happened, how games happened, how games didn't happen, what happened in some of the games and in and around them. So these stories and all that. So I don't take that lightly personally. And I don't try to make it too bigger than that, because we have to make sure that we focus on what we need to do every day to make sure the experience is good every day. And then we do the reflecting when we get a chance to get it in the rear view, and then can kind of look back and all that. Number one thing, and I think I've said it before in this interview, is that we want to create the best possible experience for Cincinnati and Alabama, knowing that they're playing in the national championship playoff, the college football playoff. They're playing for a national championship. It's really important to make sure that we put them in the best possible position to go out there to do what they do best. And that's where it ends and begins, at least for me. And we want to make sure that happens, and that's what we're going to continue to do here over the next 4 days until we get done and get these teams back to their respective homes.
And for you, Scottie, in closing, as protocol continues to adjust, what plans do you have in place to make sure that you're able to be fluid with fluid planning? Because really, you could be told something today at 10:03 a.m. Eastern Time, and by 10:17 this morning, it could change. How is your team prepared to handle whatever new things come about, whatever happens in the state of Texas, whatever happens in the Arlington area with these teams? How are you trying to have a plan on top of a plan on top of a plan to make sure that not only is this game played, but it's played safely?
We just have to listen to the experts that are out there and the folks that we rely on a daily basis to keep us informed on all those things. We have to listen to the teams and what they're doing and what's happening within their world, making sure that we understand and follow whatever the protocols, like I said before, and any adjustments to those protocols that they have in place. So that's really important. And then listening to all the healthcare and medical professionals that are around in the various areas, whether it's the city, whether it's the county, whether it's the state, making sure that the folks on our staff that are tasked with that they are having those conversations and communication with the appropriate people to make sure, because if there are adjustments that needs to be made, then we need to make those adjustments. And when we do that, and in having all these conversations, you've got to make sure all the different people are in the loop, whether it's the great folks at the stadium and the Dallas Cowboys staff that help support us there, whether that's the folks at the hotels that we work with, where the media stay, where our teams stay, whether that's the folks that we have coming in that helps us on all different aspects. We got a lot of people that we have to communicate to. If we have to pivot and make changes, then we try to do the best as we possibly can and listen to those folks. We're not the experts. We listen to the experts. And our folks on our staff and our leadership have great relationships with the right people to get the best information possible so that we can make the best decisions possible to pivot when we need to pivot. We're going to always err on the side of caution. We're always going to err on the side of making sure that we protect, so that in some respects we might do more than what we need to do, but that's okay. Doing more keeps the number one thing there. These teams are able to have a great experience, and us be able to have a game that everybody can experience, from the fans to the participants.
And a final note here by you, Scottie, the most rewarding thing for you, 21 years of working with this bowl, becoming the director of communications, being a part of everything you do for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and beyond that throughout the year in the community, what is the most rewarding part of your job?
Well, I did 21 years before I came aboard, so this game here will be my 23rd. The most rewarding thing is just seeing and being able to be a part of something that you have passion for, be a part of something that you believe in, be a part of something that you know that you can make a difference. There's a lot of great people that's done a lot of great things with this bowl game. Part of my job is coming in not to mess it up, to be totally honest. But my job also is to come in and take those things and continue to run forward with them. And that's run forward with them in some respects in the same way that they have been, in some respects evolving them in a way that it meets the time and place that we're in now. Because some of the operational things that we do, we can't do them the same way as we once did because they don't fit today's world, whether that's on the operational side, whether that's on the communication side, whether that's on the social media side. We have to evolve with the things that we have to evolve with. And, I want to make sure that we continue to do that because we take pride in being one of the best bowl games in the business. So if you take pride in that, then you got to do the things to make sure that you can keep that title. It's not a real title; it's an official title. But we like to use that as a good place to keep us motivated. Because if we want to have that title, we want people to give us that title, then we have to go out and do the right things and be good to people and bring in good people to do the things that we need them to do to help us. And because we can't do this alone, our staff is not a huge staff, but over bowl we bring in hundreds of people to help us out in various different ways and various vendors and partners in the city. And they have a lot of pride in what they do because they've had long relationships with the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. So all that put together, that's what makes me proud is that we were able to do a very unique thing and bring in a lot of people, a lot of different places and bring together with kind of that one goal, one mission, which frankly rolls back to what you asked me earlier about the hashtag. That's why we're like no other, because we can do that.
Coming from the Director of Communications of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and so much more, Scottie Rodgers. Scottie, thank you for spending more than ample time with us here today to talk about so many things connected to the Cotton Bowl, to the college football playoff, and more. I'm very honored and privileged to have met you within the last few years here and to finally have you here on the show. Would love to have you back as we continue, and I want to thank you for all the work that you and the team are doing to make sure that this game goes on and the events do, and as well as taking care of us media from around the world really does mean a lot to me, and it hits home. So thank you for the work that you've done, and it's been my pleasure this morning.
Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for having me on.
Coming from Scottie Rodgers. Scottie, we'll talk with you soon. In the meantime, enjoy the South where it doesn't snow usually, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
All right, take care, Dan.
Take care. Coming from Scottie Rodgers once again on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Well, much appreciate the time that we got to spend this morning with Scottie on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and to really just get a background of not only the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, but to learn so much about what they do and how they do it and what they do in the community and giving back and putting a team together, and then hearing a story of Scottie that, listen, for him to get the job that he had today, you talk about paying your dues. This man, for over 2 decades, dedicated his time to the Cotton Bowl and now is the Director of Communications. So a true success story of coming up and coming through the ranks and building your way to a position where you get to truly be a part of something huge, something that he was a part of. Now he gets to oversee a lot of things, and that is such a beautiful thing. And I hope that every single day he gets to appreciate that and live within that, live in about, just their work ethic. So a shout out to Scottie Rodgers and congratulations to him, and very much appreciate it. Looking forward to talking with him soon, and definitely looking forward to covering this game, as I will be doing that for you and for myself and for everybody out there. Alabama, Cincinnati, the college football playoff semifinal game inside of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. The Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the Cincinnati Bearcats, and I will be covering that for you. You can be sure of that. So I'm excited about that and the opportunity, and I can't wait. So very much looking forward to that. By the way, on my dad's birthday New Year's Eve. So, with that being said, we'll take a step aside inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios for a fast break, and we'll be coming up in just a few minutes with Gary Stokan with the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, him being the president and CEO of Peach Bowl, Inc., that oversees the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, and so much more. Very, very much looking forward to speaking with Gary Stokan as we get ready for another game that's going to be huge, this being Pittsburgh and Michigan State, and they're also in rotation for the college football playoff in history. So looking forward to talking with them and having Gary Stokan, the head of everything they do, be a part of the show in just a little bit, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the southern tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make your way out to the Millhouse Market today and every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. to enjoy their general store as well as their indoor dining and their drive-up pickup window where you could grab your food and go. The Millhouse Market there for you in so many different ways, supporting our community and giving us so many easy ways to connect with them right there on the Millhouse Market app on the Google Play or Apple App Store. You could download it there, and you'll have everything at your fingertips for the Millhouse Market to get all of their homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, brick oven pizzas, as well as their salads and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, the Millhouse Market, be it down the road or 30 miles away, is absolutely positively worth the drive every single time. Thank you to the Millhouse Market for all you do in our community and beyond. With that being said, welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. I'm so honored and privileged to be here with you, hanging out inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and we've had some awesome messages come in. I'm going to get to some of those here today, and we do have a few minutes here, so I'm excited to be able to jump into some of that. But we're here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and Cafe Kubal with locations all throughout central and upstate New York. Cafe Kubal providing opportunities for us to connect with fantastic local products, be it their coffees or their homemade chais and their teas and so much more, their sandwiches and all of their desserts. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, New York, inside of Galisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners in their first ever drive-through location, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown striped building. You can go and see them at any one of those locations. And of course, when you go to any one of the Cafe Kubals, you can grab a bag of coffee for you and one for somebody you love. When you grab one, grab two and bring them home, including the holiday blend, which is only available while supplies last. So make sure you go out and get that. I got a bunch of it and gave it away for gifts for Christmas. So make sure that you go out there and get something for yourself and for a loved one today at Cafe Kubal. So I want to get to some of your thoughts here that came in as we were having the discussion this morning. Michael asked me if there's any thoughts on the Orange basketball game last night. Well, they won 93-62, so obviously it wasn't too much of a test of it wasn't a down the wire, is this team really stacked up to be better? So I would say, and speaking of Brown, was this team really going to push them to the brink? That was a no. I don't want to take anything away from the Brown Bears, but, this was a game put on the schedule, obviously, for Syracuse to get a non-conference win, and they were able to do exactly that. So I can appreciate, listen, above everything else, I'm just happy that Syracuse is back on the floor. I think that that's the most important thing. is that Syracuse was able to get back on the floor. They've been paused for such a long time. We go back and look at their schedule, and Syracuse had not been playing for a while here, which was very unfortunate as we take a look at this and go back to their scheduling here and look at how the season has gone for the Orange. Syracuse played their games in the Battle for Atlantis during Thanksgiving on November 24th, 25th, and 26th. And then they came home and played in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, 112-110, won in double overtime. Isaac Elford and I were there on site for that. They got that win on November 30th, a Tuesday, and they haven't been home since. They were at Florida State. They were at Madison Square Garden against Villanova, and they were at Georgetown. All in 2 of those 3 games being losses, they were able to defeat Florida State in their first ACC game of the season, 63-60 on the road, and break a winning streak that Florida State had at home. And then after that, Lehigh was postponed, and Cornell was postponed, and then then Georgia Tech was postponed, but then Cornell got put on the schedule where Georgia Tech was. So Cornell was supposed to be December 21st, which was a Tuesday, and they got moved to December 29th, which is this coming Wednesday, and they'll be at the Dome at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So for those of you that are very confused saying, I thought Cornell was postponed, it was. It was postponed and put on the schedule almost a week later, 8 days later. So put on the schedule to be played in place of Georgia Tech. So that's a good thing about Syracuse's schedule, at least, that they postponed 3 games, but one of those 3 games is being made up on one of the days the other one was postponed. So for those of you that were planning on coming to the Dome on December 29th, you can do that. It's just going to be a different opponent in Cornell. And then Syracuse will start ACC play, it looks like, this Saturday, January 8th, God willing, when they, January 1st, pardon me, this Saturday, January 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time against Virginia. So that'll be good to see that happen for the Syracuse Orange. But they haven't been home since they played their game against Brown, and that game against Brown was yesterday, December 27th. They had not been home since November 30th. It had almost been a full calendar month since Syracuse had been back in the Dome, which is atypical for the Orange, especially in non-conference play where they're usually home for pretty much almost all of their non-conference has been played inside of the Carrier Dome usually. And they've done a little bit better to get away from that. They, obviously going to the Battle for Atlantis in the Bahamas and having the game at Madison Square Garden against Villanova and then going on the road at Georgetown and whatnot. But typically Syracuse spends most of its first couple months playing inside of familiar digs inside of the Carrier Dome, and this time around they haven't been home for almost a month. So it's good to get them home against Brown. They won 93-62, and they'll be home again against Cornell this Wednesday, December 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Then they'll be home on January 1st against Virginia, and then they'll be on the road for 2 and will not be home again until January 11th unless they find another game to throw in there. And if they can fix the Georgia Tech issue of that postponement, if they could put Georgia Tech in, or if they can put Lehigh or another team in. The reality, though, for Syracuse is in postponing a game and trying to fit them in, you haven't been home in a month, but when you return to play, you got a game on Monday, a game on Wednesday, and a game on Saturday. So that makes life, you got to have a quick turnaround, which could pay off dividends for Syracuse if and when they were to make the NCAA tournament, or at least the ACC tournament that they will be a part of, that, this could help them out playing games so close together, playing on a Monday, on a Wednesday, and then on a Saturday. Your turnaround is quick, and your preparation has to be quick. Your coaches have to, be able to ad-lib, and so do your players. So it'll be interesting to see how Syracuse responds to this and how quick they can bounce into Cornell, and then from Cornell into Virginia, as they will have 3 games in a very short amount of time this week, 3 games in 6 days. So interesting, but it'll be good for Syracuse fans because all those games will be home in the Dome if you want to come out and see them play. Michael also said, hope for a good game between Cincinnati and Alabama. He's predicting Alabama 27, Cincinnati 21 in a close game. Said Georgia wins a close one against Michigan. Georgia 28, Michigan 21. So he's got both games almost completely the same here. Greg said absolutely DT. living in this COVID world, destroying person-to-person contact and interaction is saddening. I couldn't agree more. He said, but I guess a virtual visit's better than no visit, which I agree with. Still very disappointing. Meeting your heroes face-to-face is a true memorable and authentic experience. Yeah, it is, and so that's reality. When I got to go see the Globetrotters play at the On Center, when I got to see them play, seeing them virtually would have been totally different to what I actually get to see. Which, I got to see Showtime Gaffney and get his autograph, which was so meaningful. And, got to be around and see, them compete face-to-face and meet them face-to-face. And, like you said, being able to meet them is so different when it's in person as opposed to being virtual. Like, yeah, getting a virtual message is great, but actually getting to physically see them is such a beautiful thing, because you get to be around those that you care about and those that have inspired you, and nothing can substitute shaking hands with someone that is a hero to you. So I agree with that, and I pray and I hope that not only can we, but we will get back to that and live in a world where we can enjoy that, because we need that. We definitely need that. And we do. I mean, we need to have human interaction. I mean, we are human beings, and we are social beings, and we were made to connect with one another. We weren't made to all live separately. So hopefully that will be able to change soon, and to some people not soon enough, but hopefully sooner than later. We are awaiting Gary Stokan here, who may be in a meeting that's gone a little bit long, but hopefully we'll be able to get him on here very soon on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. As I told you, a bunch of games that are going on. Today we have a full slate of games, 5 games in bowl season. I don't care if you watch these teams in the regular season or not. It is bowl season, and you got something to do. This is like the NCAA tournament round of 64, where there's games from noon until midnight. Folks, today there's literally games from noon that are going to go past midnight. They will start on December 28th. They will end on December 29th. The bowl season continues today at noon Eastern time, with Houston taking on Auburn. Houston's 11-2, Auburn's 6-6 in the Birmingham Bowl. From there, and that's at noon at 3:15 p.m. Eastern time. Easy to remember for those of you living in Syracuse and Central New York. That is our area code. We will see on ESPN at 3:15 p.m. Eastern time, Louisville 6-6 taking on Air Force 9-3 in the First Responder Bowl. And then from there at 5 p.m. Eastern time, the Holiday Bowl will send us over to Fox, where UCLA will be taking on NC State. UCLA 8-4. NC State looking to have their second 10-win season all time in the history of their program. If they win this game, they will get to 10 wins and be 10-3, a situation that Syracuse got to back in 2018 inside of the same conference and the same division, the ACC Atlantic Division. That game, once again, 5 p.m. on Fox. The Holiday Bowl between UCLA and NC State. The Liberty Bowl will have us after dinner getting a show at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time, as the Liberty Bowl will see Texas Tech 6-6 take on Mississippi State at 7-5. Liberty Bowl is where I was a couple of years ago, getting to watch the American Athletic Championship game between Memphis and Cincinnati, and getting some awesome barbecue, the best barbecue that I have had so far to date, as far as chicken goes, and baked beans for sure. Texas Tech, my guy, running backs coach DeAndre Smith, going to be coaching in that game. Very excited to see him do his thing, and very excited to see the Liberty Bowl in a fantastic place, in a fantastic city that I got to be a part of, Memphis, Tennessee. Liberty Bowl, love being out there. So excited to see Texas Tech take on Mississippi State. Only one win separates the two of them. If Texas Tech wins, they will end with the same record. Guaranteed Rate Bowl will round out today's games and will send us into tomorrow, as it takes place at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time on the West Coast. It'll be 7:15 p.m. So Minnesota will be taking on West Virginia. Minnesota 8-4, West Virginia 6-6, and this is the Guaranteed Rate Bowl that will also be on ESPN. So a lot of great stuff coming up. I also want to shout out a friend that you heard on the show last week, and that's also available to you now on Podbean as well as on iTunes and Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and MixLR. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with DT or Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or Wake Up Call DT, one word. Search either one of those, Wake Up Call DT or Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you'll have the opportunity to see all of my past shows there for you to listen to, including my one-on-one conversation with Tim Lester going into this bowl game that they won yesterday, the Quick Lane Bowl that they had against Nevada, getting that victory over the Wolfpack for the Western Michigan Broncos, getting only their second bowl victory ever in their history as a team. They've played in 10 bowl games in 60 years, and they've only won 2 of them, their second victory coming yesterday, for those of you that are watching and listening live. So a big shout out to Tim Lester, and I want to take the time here to read the article that I have for you. You can go out and check out this article and so much more. Over 400 articles written on the articles page of Wake Up Call DT, and that will bring you to our internet newspaper available worldwide. The article there right now, Tim Lester leads WMU for Western Michigan. Tim Lester leads Western Michigan to second bowl win ever, and here's the story. The Western Michigan Broncos have been to 10 bowl games in their 60-year history. Coming into the 2021 season, they had only won one of their previous 9 bowl outings when the Broncos defeated the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State 45-31 in the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl back on Christmas Eve on December 24th, 2015, at the culmination of the 2015 season. That victory came under former head football coach P.J. Fleck, who was 1-2 in bowl games, guiding Western Michigan to a postseason berth in 3 of 4 seasons. Current head football coach Tim Lester, a quarterback alum to the program, has not had a losing season at Western Michigan in his 5 seasons at the helm, going 6-6 in his first season as head coach and following with winning records in each of the last 4 seasons, including this campaign. The 52-24 victory in the 2021 Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit, Michigan, gives Lester his first bowl win with the Broncos and their second all-time, making Lester and Fleck the only coaches in Western Michigan history to have a bowl win under their belt. Lester, like Fleck, now has a record of 1-2 in bowl games as a leader for Western Michigan and has led the Broncos to 3 bowl appearances in 4 seasons. Under Lester, Western Michigan has concluded 3 of their last 5 seasons with at least 7 wins, with this season being the first 8-win season under Lester at 8-5. It does not take a rocket scientist to see that this Broncos program is trending upward, with 6 of their 10 bowl appearances all coming within the last decade, 3 of those in the last 4 seasons under Lester, and only their second bowl win in program history coming at the conclusion of their current season. Lester may be onto something, and it is not simply just one of his plays he keeps nestled up that sleeve of his. He led his alma mater down the field once as a quarterback, and he is heading down that field once again, this time with a headset on. Shout out to Tim Lester and the Western Michigan Broncos for making history right here in 2021. So very excited for that and very appreciative of that. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we will be back momentarily with plenty more from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios here where sports truly meets that thing called life. Thank you so much for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Happy to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, as well as on 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse, New York at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location. And, of course, there at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York in their giant behemoth of a brown striped building. Massive building, looks like coffee being poured. They just expanded their parking lot there as well, so you can go out and see them at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius. However you're connecting with Cafe Kubal, make sure you head out there today and support local. It looks like Gary Stokan had a meeting that is going to run a little bit long here, so it looks like our anticipation of having him on today's show is going to have to be moved to a different date, but I am very happy that we got to speak with Scottie Rodgers here of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic and have some expanded time with the Director of Communications, who's worked his way up to where he is today and calls AT&T Stadium his home, which is incredible to have something like that. So a big shout out to Scottie Rodgers and to all that they're doing at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Very much appreciate having him here on the show, and you can be sure that that interview is going to be shared on all of our archives, so you'll be able to go back and check it out on YouTube as well as on Stitcher and on Spotify. You'll be able to check that out on MixLR, on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, and Podbean by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. By searching that, you'll be able to get my conversation with Scottie Rodgers coming up here, as I will be sharing that for everybody to be able to listen back to or listen to for the first time. So appreciate everybody that listened in and everybody that will be listening in to my conversation with Scottie Rodgers of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, part of the college football playoff, and a game that I will be covering as Cincinnati takes on Alabama for the right to head to the national championship game coming up here in early January. So a lot of great stuff coming up. I did put up my polls, and I tell you all the time, if you haven't joined us on Twitter, make sure you do so. Twitter at CallDT, that's CALLDT. Follow us on Twitter at CallDT. I put up polls all the time, and I just put up polls for every single bowl game for today, the 5 games we've been talking about. I put who's winning the Birmingham Bowl when 11-2 Houston takes on 6-6 Auburn. A ton of people have voted in this one. There's an hour left to vote. 70% of you have picked Houston. 30% of you have picked Auburn. In the next game, in the First Responder Bowl with 6-6 Louisville up against 9-3 Air Force, 67.5% of you have chosen Air Force. 32.5% have chosen Louisville in this game. So Air Force leading the way in that one. Who's winning the Holiday Bowl when UCLA at 8-4 takes on NC State at 9-3? This one's closer. 55.6% of you have chosen NC State. 44.4% of you have chosen UCLA. And in the Liberty Bowl, Texas Tech at 6-6 and Mississippi State at 7-5. 57.1% of you have chosen Texas Tech. 42.9% have chosen Mississippi State. And in the final game of the day, in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, Minnesota 8-4 against West Virginia 6-6. 57.1% have chosen Minnesota, and 42.9% have chosen West Virginia. There's 10 hours left to vote in that poll, so make sure you do that. In the Liberty Bowl, we have 7 hours left to vote, 6 hours left in the Holiday Bowl, and 4 hours left in the First Responder Bowl, so make sure you vote. And for the Birmingham Bowl, like I said, a ton of you have voted in. Thanks to everybody that voted in every single poll. And you got 1 hour left to vote for Houston or Auburn in the Birmingham Bowl poll that we have going on Twitter at CallDT. That's CALLDT. So with that being said, we're going to do an earlier piece here with the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Route 57 and Wetzel Road, right there at that corner for over 2 decades, right down the road from Liverpool High School. You can literally walk there from Liverpool High School, and we do our exclusive Liverpool Warriors show every single month on site, on location at Avicolli's, and we just had it with the boys basketball team and Syracuse Orange basketball alum Ryan Blackwell, who is their head coach of the last 7 years, I believe. So he was there with us. You can go back and watch those videos on our Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, and we'll be sharing those today as well as on other avenues, so you can make sure to check those out. The video conversation that I had with Ryan Bartholomew, Syracuse and NFL O-line alum, is already available on youtube.com/wakeupcall DT, and it's been shared on Facebook and Twitter. And you can, of course, see our video conversation as well with incoming Ole Miss offensive lineman at Cam East coming out of the state of Louisiana. Had 20-plus offers, including one from Syracuse. He is heading to Ole Miss to join Lane Kiffin in the crew. That offensive lineman, Cam East, that video special is available to you on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt as well. And it's been shared on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Facebook at wakeupcalldt, Twitter at calldt. So make sure that you join me there. Like the page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course follow us on YouTube on the channel Wake Up Call DT. It's all one word, Wake Up Call DT. Follow us on that channel on YouTube so that you can connect with us and never miss anything that gets added again, as well as all of our live shows that are added there. So make sure that you join us on YouTube and our channel, and that channel once again is Wake Up Call DT, or you can just go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and click follow. So however you do it, thank you so much for joining us on YouTube and everywhere that you join us. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate it very much so. So with that being said, we're going to hop into our final piece of every single Tuesday broadcast, and that is the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's. And I owe you an ingredients to success from Avicolli's from a couple weeks prior. So what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to bring you two. So the ingredients to success, we're going to have a twofer here today. Starting off with my first topic. And my first topic for the ingredients to success for Avicolli's is going to be being who you say you are, right? Practicing what you... Well, that's a little bit different. Being who you say you are. Walk it, talk it, and walk it. And so for me, the ingredients to success to be who you say you are is to not say something about yourself that you're not willing to do, right? If you say, hey, I'm an honest person, and you're not honest with people, then have the common decency to not say that and provide fake news to people and actually be who you say you're going to be. You know, it's important. And so the ingredients to success of being who you say you are is if you talk it, walk it. Be prepared to do the things you say you are going to do and be the person that you say you are. I also want to make note of the fact that if you truly are the person that you say you are, you don't have to tell people. If you're an honest person, chances are you're not having to tell people, right? Maybe initially when you meet someone and say, hey, I'm an honest person, you can trust me. But if you are an honest person, it will precede you. If you're a good person, it will precede you. If you are who you say you are, it'll precede you. And if you're consequently not a good person, if you lie and you cheat and you steal, then that'll be found out too. So being who you say you are and challenging yourself to be the best you can be. Because being who you say you are, you could say you're a liar and go out and lie and you say, hey, Dan, you gave me permission. No, I didn't. So being who you say you are is one thing. Being who you say you are and being a good person is a step above that. So I challenge you today to be who you say you are and to make sure that that is a person of morality and of the highest character. And to understand that if you're going to talk it, you need to walk it. Because people will inevitably find out who you are. No matter what you say, the truth always comes out. Our second ingredients to success topic for today, I would have to say, is making the holiday spirit last year round. That's something that's been on my mind a lot lately. Is making the holiday spirit last year round. So here in the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avicolli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, down the road from Liverpool High School, and your neighbor there in Liverpool for over 2 decades. I would say that this topic of making your holiday spirit last year round is just remembering that you're the one that's choosing it. You know, you're the one that is choosing to be in the holiday spirit, right? I think that, we kind of think it's out of our control, right? Like, oh, I just woke up and I'm in the holiday spirit. And, so I think people, we're used to being told when to, right? When you're in Disney, you're supposed to be nice. When it's Christmas time, you're supposed to be in the holiday spirit. When it's New Year's time, you're supposed to promise yourself and other people that you're going to do good things. But the question is, why do we buy into that and then not teach ourselves that for the whole year? Why not tell yourself all year round, I'm going to be a good person and then be a good person? I'm going to have holiday cheer and have holiday cheer. Because, we think it's because of the holidays. Oh my gosh, I'm so amped up because of the holidays. I'm so cheerful because of the holidays. You're the one that's put in your head that you have to be cheerful during the holidays. So this whole notion of I'm going to be really excited on Christmas and New Year's and Easter and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and the 4th of July and Valentine's Day and whatnot and Thanksgiving, that is something that, is put in front of you, right? We're supposed to be nice to each other. We're supposed to be thankful. But how about this? The spirit of Thanksgiving in the Bible, that's supposed to be all year round. It's supposed to be all the time. You're always supposed to be thankful for what you have, even adversity. You're supposed to be thankful for what you have all the time. You're not supposed to be thankful for your life at the end of November on Thanksgiving only. You're not supposed to be nice to people on December 25th only. You're not supposed to make good decisions for the future of your life and the present of your life only on January 1st. You're supposed to do that all the time. Think about that. That's 3 days. So if you're only supposed to be thankful one day of the year, you're only supposed to make positive promises for the future one day of the year, and you're only supposed to be cheerful one day of the year, that means you're nice, positive, thankful, and promising yourself good things a few times, not even a week out of the whole 365 days of the year. That means nothing. If I'm thankful on Thanksgiving, but I don't wake up every day and say, God, thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for my life. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this interview. Thank you for my dog. Thank you for my girlfriend. Thank you for my mom and my dad and my friends. Thank you for my job. Then what life am I leading? That I only appreciate my life once a year? What life am I leading if I'm only excited to live my life during Christmas season? So I challenge you today and every day to have a cheerful heart, a thankful mind, and a hopeful spirit. A cheerful heart, a thankful mind, and a hopeful spirit. A cheerful heart, a heart that every single day is excited to be alive. A cheerful heart, a thankful mind, that you take the time to think about your blessings and thank God for them. And a hopeful spirit, to have at the center of you the hope that things will always get better as we move forward. That no matter what we face today, we will only become a stronger and better person because of it to attack the day tomorrow and the rest of the day today. That adversity will become not a crutch, but something that we almost open the door to after a while because we know that we can handle it. Instead of it just blasting through our door every time to say, you know what, here's adversity, it's at the front door, I'm going to walk outside and meet it. Maybe it's not the right thing to say to let it into the house, but to go outside and say, you know what, adversity or not, how about this? Whether or not adversity is knocking on the door, you're going to answer the call. If you open the door and it's a big, great hug and it's sunshine and rainbows, great. And if it's not, and it's clouds and it's rain and it's sleet and it's hail, you're going to meet that too. With the same smile and positivity. A hopeful soul. That's what we need. That's what we need. A cheerful heart, a thankful mind, and a hopeful soul. That's what I challenge you to have today. And those are our ingredients to success for today and every day, proudly presented by the fantastic people at Avicolli's. And I thank each and every single one of them, John and the entire team at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. My thanks to each and every single one of you for all that you do Tuesday through Sunday to serve our community for lunch, dinner, and drinks. On the pizza, casual side, the fine dining side, the bar, the private parties, as well as takeout, delivery, and catering, which you can all get to by calling 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100 for Avicolli's. Here in our community, supporting local is imperative, and I thank you for all that have done exactly that. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is live for you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Mixlr.com/WakeUpCallDT is where you're listening, as well as on WakeUpCallDT.com. You're watching live on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. Once the shows go live, they jump into the archive shortly after on Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and more. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these favorite channels of yours, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Proud thanks to all of our Central and Upstate New York partners, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. If you go to maandpaspopcorn.com, you can get Ma and Pa's delivered to you in any one of the 50 states. Go to maandpaspopcorn.com, grab any one of those fantastic flavors, have it shipped to your doorstep, or go and visit them on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. By the way, if you buy any one of their tins, any size, you have half-price refills for the rest of your life by buying any one of their tins in-store. And they have a ton of holiday-centric tins as well as year-round tins, and they have your favorite sports team tins as well. So you can go out and get those NFL tins and Syracuse and so much more at Ma and Pa's on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, and go to maandpaspopcorn.com to order from any one of the 50 states. Progressive Dental, Avicolli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, Lemoyne Dolphins, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox right down the road from Ma and Pa's on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Minutes from the highway, the thruway, Destiny, USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboards. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up, and Dolphin Time is every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Set that dial every Wednesday, 9 a.m., the first and third Wednesday of every month. AD and DT for Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, giving you a special topic we focus on every episode of AD and DT. And every second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Dolphin Dive, featuring a student athlete, coach, or staff member speaking on their connection to Lemoyne, why they chose Lemoyne, and what it means to be a Dolphin. Find all of that on our YouTube channel, Wake Up Call DT, or by finding it by going to youtube.com/wakeupcallDT. Of course, you can go to our Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com and bookmark that as well for all of our content, and you can find out more from the Lemoyne Dolphins by going to LemoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. Marywood University has Pacer Pride coming to you on Fridays throughout the month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. This exclusive content entitled Pacer Pride involves the Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, as well as student athletes and coaches throughout the year from Marywood University to your doorstep. You can find all of our shows on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, where you can subscribe. You can also just type in Wake Up Call DT as one word on YouTube and click subscribe. And of course, you can find all of our Marywood content on the Marywood tab on WakeUpCallDT.com, and more information on Marywood University by going to MarywoodPacers.com. With that being said, I hope you all have a fantastic day. For my fantastic guest, Scottie Rodgers, Director of Communications at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, as well as Avicolli's with the ingredients to success, a twofer today. I thank you all for listening and watching today's broadcast from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. This is Dan Tortora. I appreciate you and implore you to go to Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT and follow us and like our pages there. And of course, as always, take care of yourself. Be good to each other. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Take your cheerful heart, your thankful mind, and your hopeful soul and bring it outside today. And no matter what meets you, may you know that going with God will always get you there. I appreciate y'all, and I love y'all. I'll talk with you soon.